There's a moment when you snap at someone you care about and hear your own voice echo back at you in a way that feels strangely foreign. The words come out sharp, louder than you meant. As soon as the sentence lands, your chest tightens, your face gets hot. You see the hurt in their eyes and think, why did I react like that? It wasn't even that big of a deal. Later, in the shower or on the drive home, the scene replays in your mind. But it's not just today you're seeing. It's flashes of something older, being yelled at across a room, a slammed door, the feeling of being very small while a big person towered over you. Or maybe the moment is quieter. You're at a party, smiling, nodding, laughing at the right times. On the surface, you look fine. Inside, your stomach is tight the whole evening. You feel like you're watching yourself from above, playing a role. Afterward, you're exhausted in a way that doesn't match what you did. You lie in bed scrolling, thinking, why does everything feel so hard for me? There's a vague sense that you're carrying something heavy you can't quite name, something that didn't start today or this year, but much earlier. That something is often childhood trauma, and it has a bigger impact on adult life than most people realize. As time goes on, that impact stops being one dramatic event and turns into a repeating pattern that shows up everywhere. In romantic relationships, childhood trauma can look like choosing the same kind of partner over and over again. You might end up with people who are emotionally unavailable, critical, or unpredictable, and tell yourself, I just have a type. When they pull away, your chest burns with panic. When they come close, you feel a strange urge to push them back. Part of you wants to be held, another part is sure that getting close equals getting hurt. So you swing between clinging and distancing, and you wonder, why can't I just be normal in relationships? At work, childhood trauma might disguise itself as overachieving or underperforming. Maybe you're the one who stays late, takes on too much, and can't rest without feeling guilty. You fear criticism in a way that feels bigger than
feedback itself. A simple email from your boss saying, "We need to talk," makes your heart race and your stomach drop, like you're a kid waiting to be punished. Or you're the opposite. You procrastinate, freeze, avoid responsibility, and secretly believe you'll fail anyway, so why try too hard? On the outside, you blame the job. On the inside, there's an old voice saying, you're not good enough. In family, childhood trauma can show up as you becoming the responsible one, the mediator, or the ghost. Maybe you're the person who keeps the peace, organizes everything, and checks on everyone but yourself. Or you're the one who avoids family gatherings because being around them makes you feel like you're regressing into a younger, smaller version of yourself. You leave feeling drained, irritable, or numb, and you can't always explain why. When you're alone, trauma often speaks through your inner dialogue. You might hear things like, you're too sensitive, you're a burden, you always mess things up, no one really cares. Even if no one around you is saying that now, you might look in the mirror and feel disconnected from the person staring back. You might wonder why certain sounds, smells, or phrases send you into sudden anxiety or shutdown. You might ask yourself privately, why do I keep reacting like this? Why does this bother me so much? To understand what's happening, you have to look back. Not to blame, but to see. Childhood trauma doesn't always mean a single terrible event. Sometimes it's a series of smaller hurts that repeat until they change how your nervous system works. A girl grows up in a home where nobody has time for feelings. When she cries, she hears, stop being dramatic. When she gets excited, she hears, calm down. When she's scared, she hears, don't be silly. She learns that the safest thing is to swallow her emotions and take care of everyone else. She becomes the helpful one, the quiet one, the one who never asks for too much. As an adult, this same girl might find it hard to know what she feels at all. When someone asks, what do you need? She freezes. She might end up in relationships when she does all the emotional labor, listening, fixing, soothing, but never feels truly seen. If she gets upset, she turns it against herself. I'm overreacting. Inside, the child who learned, my feelings are a problem, is still running the show. A boy grows up in a house where anger is unpredictable. One minute, everything is fine. The next, something tiny sets off yelling, slamming, or silence that lasts for days. He has no control over when the storm hits, so he learns to scan every room. What mood is Dad in? Is Mom okay? Are my siblings fighting? He becomes hyper-aware, always on alert. always ready to adjust himself to keep things calm. As an adult, he might feel constantly tense without knowing why. Crowded places, loud voices, or sudden changes might send his body into panic. He might struggle with anxiety or have trouble relaxing, even on vacation. He might overreact when someone raises their voice or shut down completely during conflict, not because he doesn't care, but because his nervous system thinks he's back in that childhood living room. Some children experience obvious trauma, physical abuse, sexual abuse, witnessing violence, severe neglect. Others experience what's sometimes called little t trauma, chronic criticism, emotional neglect, parentification, being forced to act like a parent, bullying, or growing up in an environment where they never felt safe to be themselves. The impact can be similar. The child learns that the world is not safe, that they are not safe, or they are only accepted when they perform a certain role. Psychologically, a big part of this connects to attachment and the nervous system. Attachment is how your body learned to answer questions like, when I'm upset, does someone comfort me? When I'm scared, does someone help me feel safe? When I show my real self, do I get rejected, ignored, or punished? If, as a child, you had caregivers who were mostly consistent, warm, and responsive, your system tends to expect that people can be trusted. If your caregivers were unpredictable, distant, overwhelmed, or harmful, your system might expect that closeness equals danger. Your nervous system then gets shaped by those early experiences. It learns to
live in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, people-pleasing, more often than in calm. That's why childhood trauma doesn't stay in the past. It lives in your reactions. So how does this show up now, in everyday life? At work, childhood trauma can lead to taking criticism as a full-body threat. A simple, "Can we talk about this?" feels like you're in trouble and triggers panic or shutdown. Overworking to earn worth. You tie your value to productivity because, as a child, you were praised mainly when you achieved. Avoiding responsibility. You might procrastinate or sabotage yourself because trying and failing feels more dangerous than not trying at all. Conflict avoidance. You stay quiet in meetings, don't set boundaries with coworkers, and later feel resentful and invisible. In romantic relationships, it can look like choosing partners who repeat familiar dynamics, controlling like a parent, distant like a parent, emotionally unavailable or unstable. Feeling too needy or too much, so you hide your needs until you explode or silently suffer. Going numb during conflict. You freeze, can't find words, and later replay the argument thinking of everything you wished you'd said. Sabotaging stability. When someone is kind and consistent, you might feel bored or suspicious because your nervous system is used to chaos. In family life now, trauma might show up as feeling responsible for everyone's emotions. You rush to smooth things over, fix people, or absorb tension just like you did as a kid. Regressing around relatives. Your voice gets smaller, your boundaries weaker, your confidence drops when you're back in the old environment. Avoiding visits, calls, or gatherings because they leave you drained, angry, or feeling like a child again. With friends, it might appear as being the listener who never talks about your own struggles, over-apologizing, over-explaining, or saying yes when you mean no because you're afraid people will leave if you disappoint them. Testing people, pulling away to see if they chase you because you never learned how to ask directly for reassurance. Inside your own mind, childhood trauma can show up as constant self-criticism. You talk to yourself the way adults once talked to you. Anxiety without a clear cause. Your body feels like something bad is about to happen, even when life is calm. Emotional flashbacks. You react strongly to small triggers, tone of voice, facial expressions, certain words, because they remind you of earlier experiences, even if you don't consciously remember them. Feeling fake. You feel like you're performing a role instead of living as yourself. At some point, many people hit a moment of confusion. Why do I keep doing this? Why do I shut down? Why do I overreact? Why do I attract the same kind of people? Why does this tiny thing feel so huge to me? That moment is painful, but it's also a doorway. It's the part of you that knows there's more to this story than you being broken or too sensitive. Here's a reframe. Your reactions are not random flaws. They're adaptations. Anger that feels too big might be an old defense that once protected you when no one listened until you raised your voice. It's a signal that a boundary is being crossed, even if you're not yet clear on which one. Numbness. Feeling nothing when you think you should feel something is not laziness or coldness. It's a sign your system is overloaded. As a child, shutting down might have been the only way to survive emotionally or physically when things got too intense. People-pleasing isn't just being nice, it's a fawn response. It says, if I keep everyone happy, maybe I'll be safe. That might have reduced danger in a volatile home. As an adult, it keeps you from living your own life. Even your hyper-independence, that I don't need anyone, I handle everything alone identity, is a trauma response. It likely began when needing someone led to disappointment or hurt. Independence is not bad, but when it's fueled by fear, it can keep you lonely and exhausted. The goal of inner work is not to get rid of these parts, it's to understand them, to integrate them, to say, thank you for helping me survive. I'm older now, I have more options. We don't have to keep living this way. Here are some practical steps to start working with childhood trauma in your daily life. Practice.
Notice your triggers like a scientist. Why it helps. Triggers are like signposts pointing to old wounds. If you can map them, you stop feeling crazy and start seeing patterns. How to do it. For a week or two, whenever you have a strong reaction, panic, anger, shame, shutdown, write down what just happened. What did I tell myself in that moment? Where did I feel it in my body? When do I remember feeling this way as a child? Mini scene. Your partner comes home later than expected and doesn't text. You feel rage and then shame for being dramatic. Later you write, I thought, I'm not important. I'm being abandoned. I felt it in my chest and throat. This reminds me of waiting for a parent who often didn't show up. Suddenly, your reaction makes sense. You're not just responding to tonight, you're responding to years of waiting. What's hard? You might want to dismiss your reaction as silly. Instead, try treating it as data. Curiosity, not judgment. Practice 2. Write what the younger you never got to say. Why it helps. Trauma often includes silence, things you couldn't safely express. Writing gives those parts a voice. How to do it. Choose an age where things felt hard. Imagine that version of you sitting in front of you. Write from their perspective. I felt, I needed, what hurt me was, what I wish you had said was. Mini scene. You write, I felt scared when you yelled all the time. I needed you to tell me it wasn't my fault. It hurt when you said I was too sensitive. As you read it back, your throat tightens. You're finally acknowledging what happened without minimizing it. What's hard? Guilt. My parents did their best. Two things can be true. They had limitations, and you were still hurt. Acknowledging your pain isn't betrayal. It's honesty. Practice 3. One small boundary without a long explanation. Why it helps? Trauma often involves boundary violations, people crossing your limits or never letting you have any. Boundaries teach your nervous system that you're not powerless anymore. How to do it? Pick a very small boundary to practice. Ending a phone call when you're tired. I'm going to go now. I'll talk to you later. Saying
no to a small request. I can't do that today. Protecting your time. I'm not available this weekend. State it simply. Resist the urge to over-explain. Mini scene. A friend asks for a favor you don't have energy for. Old you would say yes, then resent them. This time you say, I can't today. Your heart races. You wait for an explosion that never comes. Your system learns saying no is uncomfortable, but survivable. What's hard? The guilt and anxiety afterward. That's old wiring. Breathe, remind yourself, I'm allowed to have limits. Practice 4. Short, distraction-free time to feel. Why it helps? Many trauma survivors live in constant distraction. Work, phone, noise, because feeling is scary. Tiny doses of safe feeling time slowly rebuild connection with yourself. How to do it? Once or twice a day, set a 5 to 10 minute timer. No phone, no TV, no tasks. Sit or lie down and ask, what am I feeling in my body right now? If this feeling had a word, what would it be? What do I need in this moment? Mini scene. You sit on the couch, no screens. At first, your mind races. Then you notice a lump in your throat. You name it, sadness. You remember a recent moment that hurt. Instead of pushing it away, you say to yourself, of course I feel sad. This matters to me. For once, you don't abandon yourself. What's hard? It might feel overwhelming or pointless. Start very small. 3 minutes counts. You're building tolerance. Practice 5. One honest moment with a safe person. Why it helps? Trauma is often about isolation. Healing happens in safe connection. You don't need a huge confession. Just one step deeper than, "I'm fine." How to do it? Think of one person who feels relatively safe. Next time they ask how you are, add one true sentence. "I've been more anxious than usual lately. I've been noticing some stuff from my childhood coming up. I've been feeling really tired emotionally." Mini scene. A friend asks, "How's it going?" You usually say, "All good." This time you say, "It's been a bit heavy emotionally this week." They respond, "Yeah? Do you want to talk about it?" Maybe you say yes. Maybe you say, "Not yet, but thanks for asking." Either way, you
Just broke the pattern of carrying everything alone. What's hard? Fear of being judged or misunderstood. Choose the person carefully and keep it small. This is about practice, not perfection. Practice 6. A weekly no to practice disappointing people safely. Why it helps? Many trauma survivors learned that disappointing others equals danger or rejection. Practicing small no builds the muscle of choosing yourself. How to do it? Once a week, intentionally say no to something you'd usually agree to out of guilt or fear. It could be a social plan you don't actually want, an extra task at work when you're exhausted, a call when you're not in the headspace. Mini scene. Your coworker expects you to join another after-hours project. You're already drained. Old you says yes. New you says, "I can't take that on right now." You feel anxious. They're a bit surprised, but the world doesn't end. You go home on time for once. What's hard? The internal backlash. Your inner critic might scream, "You're selfish." That voice is old conditioning. You're not doing anything wrong. Practice 7. Meet your younger self. Why it helps? Childhood trauma isn't just a story in your mind. It lives in parts of you that still feel young and alone. Meeting them directly can be powerful. How to do it? Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes. Picture yourself at a time that felt painful. Notice how old you look, where you are, what your face and body say. Imagine your current self sitting beside them. You don't need to fix anything, just be with them. Say things like, "You shouldn't have had to go through that. It wasn't your job to keep everyone okay. You're not too much. You were never too much." Mini scene. You see yourself as a 9-year-old sitting on the edge of your bed after getting yelled at. The child version of you thinks, "It's my fault. I'm bad." Your adult self kneels down and says, "You were a kid. You didn't deserve that." You feel a wave of emotion. For once, someone is on that child's side, and that someone is you. What's hard? It can feel strange or emotional. That's okay. Go slow. This isn't about forcing feelings. It's about offering presence where there
Was none. With time, if you engage in this kind of work, things begin to shift. Not into perfection, but into more choice. You might still get triggered, but you recognize it sooner. You say to yourself, "This is my old fear of being abandoned," instead of, "I'm crazy." That gap between feeling and action gets a little wider, giving you room to decide how to respond. Your relationships start to change. You may find you're less attracted to people who recreate your worst memories. Drama and chaos feel less exciting. Calm, consistent people start to feel safer. You might set boundaries with family and tolerate the discomfort that comes with that. Some dynamics may soften, others may fade. Not everyone will like the new you. That's a real loss, and also a real gain. At work, you may still feel nervous before feedback, but not shattered. You might try new things, knowing that mistakes don't make you worthless. You might choose rest without as much guilt, because you no longer need to prove your right to exist by constantly producing. Inside, your inner voice slowly changes tone. Less, "You're a failure." More, "That was hard, but you did your best." Less, "You're broken." More, "You're learning." You start to feel like your own ally instead of your own bully. And perhaps most importantly, you stop seeing your symptoms, anxiety, overthinking, trust issues, numbness, as evidence that something is fundamentally wrong with you. You start seeing them as logical responses to things that once overwhelmed you. From there, healing becomes less about fixing and more about caring. Go back in your mind to that first moment, snapping at someone you love, or feeling like a stranger in your own life. Now imagine pausing right after it happens. Instead of only blaming yourself, you take a breath and think,
this reaction is older than this moment. You remember that you're carrying experiences your younger self never had help processing. You don't excuse harmful behavior, but you do understand it. And from that understanding, you do something different. Apologize, reflect, take a break, reach out, write, rest. Anything other than simply attacking yourself. Childhood trauma and its impact.
On adult life is not a life sentence to suffering. It's a context, a map, a set of patterns that once kept you safe and are now asking to be updated. This work is not about becoming someone who never gets triggered, never struggles, never feels pain. It's about becoming someone who can recognize, oh, this is my old wound, and respond with more awareness and kindness than the people around you once could. Thank you for staying until the end. If this brought some pieces together for you, you can subscribe for more videos on psychology, healing, and inner work. And if you feel okay sharing, which part of this felt most familiar? Relationships, work, family, or the way you talk to yourself? Your answer might help someone else feel less alone with their own story.